Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome back to Prime Time. Abby St. John joining me as always to talk news, weather, sports, and more this evening. There's a big change coming this way, not just in Lloydminster, obviously, but the rest of Alberta and Saskatchewan, but specifically with cannabis producers of cannabis products, who sell them at their stores here, and that could change a lot of things here in town.
Yes, once edibles and all that are on the shelves, it'll give people who don't want to smoke it another option for them to, if they choose to ingest cannabis, they'll have a different option rather than smoking it, because I know a lot of people don't like smoking, so having that other option I think is going to be great.
And we'll have to see if that in fact changes the sort of general view around cannabis. So that's our question of the day. Chime in on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. First though, let's go out to Eric Bay, who was on location earlier.
Thanks, guys. Well, that weather has definitely gotten colder, and we have moved into the middle of October. So that means one thing: Oktoberfest is coming up, starting here tomorrow night in Lloydminster, put on by the Lloydminster German Heritage Society. And now we're going to be getting all the details on what is voted the most popular Oktoberfest in both Alberta and Saskatchewan. So tons to look forward to there here as we go on throughout the show. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio and take a look at your local news.
Thanks, Eric. Well, crews were called to a 3-vehicle crash in Lloydminster just before 2:30 this afternoon. The incident happened at the intersection of 44th Street and College Drive. Witnesses to the scene say it appears no one was injured. Traffic has since returned to normal in the area. With the 1-year anniversary of the legalization of cannabis taking place last week, the federal government officially legalized edibles to be sold in stores. We take a look at what you should know before edibles hit the shelves. Even though edibles are now legal to sell in stores, they won't be on shelves for the next couple of months.
As of right now, there's not really a whole lot of information that we've been given. Health Canada has a 60-day SKU lag time for any new product. So even though it is legal right now, we won't see it until actually in store till probably about mid-January.
Health Canada has to regulate all of the product first. DoseCann and Foray, the people that we are collaborating with for our Cornerstone brands, they've actually already have submitted their products into Health Canada. We're aiming to try to see it on the shelves by December.
For regulations, City Council has to look at the bylaws that are in place to see if any changes need to be made.
Something that you kind of need to do in a way because it is a federal legalized product, and if we don't have anything within our bylaws, then it kind of is, the Wild West open country on what people want to do. So we have to provide the framework so that we can tell people where it's allowed and where it's acceptable and things like that.
Within the law, RCMP officers are trained to detect impaired drivers.
All frontline police officers are trained in impaired investigations, so we use our heads. We're looking at his eye movements, we're looking at his slurred words, we're looking for those physiological signs. And if there is something that we detect and we believe it is drug related, we'll call our drug recognition expert in and he'll come do his specific tests.
For first-time cannabis users or those who have smoked but never ingested edibles, Lab 001 and House of Hybrids have suggestions for those people so everyone can have a good experience.
It's more of a body high. Like I said, it takes a little bit longer for it to kick in. You're going to see roughly around 30 minutes to about an hour and a half for the edibles to start taking place. So make sure you're in a comfortable environment where you don't have to leave your house for at least 12 hours. Maybe have some friends with you or family who are there to supervise you in case you do feel any nausea from just simply taking too much.
For the first-time users, I would say just maybe, lean on somebody that has used cannabis in the past. Those people will know exactly what and what not to do. That would be my advice to those people for sure. Or come in and talk to our bud tenders. They have a lot of knowledge behind them.
The biggest thing to keep in mind when ingesting edibles, according to Lab 001 and House of Hybrids, is to take it low and slow to avoid taking too much. It's not every day you get to be on the cover of a magazine, but one of our own is being featured on the Today's Women's magazine, an insert inside the Meridian Source. 10 local women, including the mayor's wife, Christine Albers, have their stories inside the magazine, and our own Heather Klages was one of the inspiring women in the community. Our Jasmine King has the details.
Good morning, it's Heather Klages. This is the Real Country Wake Up, and coming up this morning...
Each year, the Today's Women's magazine puts a spotlight on a few local women who go out of their own way to help Lloydminster and area residents. Our Heather Klages, host of Real Country 95.9, was nominated, which is something she's excited to be featured for.
It's an honor, and it's also very humbling because you look at the other women who are featured in this and the great work that they do in the community, and it also made me start thinking about other women I know in the community and how much they give back. So it's an honor, but it's also very humbling, and I almost feel like there might be a little bit of pressure too to make sure I'm giving back to the community as I move forward as well.
Since she was a kid in Ontario, Heather has always had an interest in radio, which came from her farm background, as she always remembers the radio playing in her house, but her journey to the border city wasn't a typical one.
I was working back home in Ontario. This was 10 years ago now. The place I was at, they went through some layoffs, and I was the last person that they had hired. So I was one of the first ones that was let go. I wanted to stay in radio, so that meant looking right across the country for any positions that were open. And this one came up, and I thought, I've always wanted to live out west. Why not give it a shot and see what happens? And I enjoyed it when I got here, and every day I feel like I enjoy it even more.
When she first started here and she didn't know a lot of people, she says the community helped her feel welcome.
They're so welcoming and so willing to talk to you and get to know you and invite you to be a part of things, and also they appreciate you when you help out at different events. So it really is great people that make up this great community.
As she's now been in the border city for a decade, she's had a few highlights in her time here.
Being a part of the Cutter Rally for Cancer and going out on that trail for a couple years and just making new friends doing that, and taking part in different events like Telemiracle Steak Night, and also more recently for me anyways is being a part of the Terry Fox Run, because there was an opportunity to help organize it, and I was lucky enough to find some people who wanted to help do that with me.
Over the past few years, Heather has become involved in a lot of community activities and events, which is something she likes to do in order to try and give back to the community that has been so great to her.
One of the reasons I really love to be involved in the community is because it's my way, I guess, of kind of saying thank you for the way that they have welcomed me and made me feel at home here. So it's a way that I can give back and say thank you to them for being so welcoming. And also, it's a great way to meet new people, and it's a great way to just get out there and have new experiences.
Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
During the economic downturn, Relay Distributing has continued to rise above challenges by sticking with a customer-friendly strategy. Eric Bay has more in this week's BioClean Business Bio.
Maintaining a good relationship with customers is number one for Relay Distributing, and they take one thing off customers' plates by ensuring they always have the proper inventory.
Everybody wants to get what they pay for, so we've stuck to those fundamentals, and we offer top quality product that stretches your dollar and does the job. It's easy to use, and then our sales staff keep track of customers' inventory, so you never run out, you're never overstocked, and it's one less thing you have to worry about. So
Relay also brings orders right to the customer with their same-day delivery, eliminating another hassle.
So we pick up in the morning, and then we deliver into the outlying areas in the late morning and early afternoon. So it's the biggest benefit, I think, for local business with that courier is it saves the traveling. Where they used to at one time run to get it because they needed it today, well, they can rely on us, within a half an hour. Our arrival times are pretty much standard.
Over the years, Relay has added products to fill a hole in the community as other businesses have left Lloydminster.
Initially, we started just supplying janitorial products, and then we grew to meet the needs of the community, actually, where we noticed business basically all slipping out of town into the larger centers like Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatoon, and tried to bring on those services that weren't offered by other people. So like our courier.
Relay Distributing provides janitorial equipment, high-pressure washers, and service on equipment. And that's this week's BioClean Business Bio.
Business Bio, brought to you by BioClean. Call the Bio Team, 1-833-246-8326. The Disaster Specialists.
Now we're going to Eric Bay, who was on location today.
Once again, we are back here, and today we are talking about Oktoberfest coming up very soon here in Lloydminster. And now today, Richard Starkey joins me, who is with the German Heritage Society, who is putting this on. So first off, maybe just give us a little background as to the German Heritage Society and how you guys got started.
Sure. The Lloydminster German Heritage Society was founded in 1992, so 27 years ago. A group of us that, mostly are of German heritage, or in some cases there were folks that had immigrated to Canada and were from Germany or Switzerland or Austria, the German-speaking countries of Central Europe. We formed the society, and right from day one we decided that one of the things we should do is host an Oktoberfest. So the very first Oktoberfest was back actually in November of 1992. And it was a great time, and we've done it ever since.
Very good. And now I guess just talking about that, kind of why did you guys actually want to start this up and keep showing off a little bit of German culture here throughout Lloydminster?
Well, it's very true that Canada is a multicultural nation, and we know that there are many cultures in the Lloydminster area. Certainly the Ukrainian culture and is very prominent, and we of course have the background from the English settlers that first founded Lloydminster, but there is actually quite a bit of German settlement that occurred in and around Lloydminster, and a lot of folks of German heritage. I myself came to Lloydminster in 1983, but am born of German heritage and German parents, and so I was really interested in keeping that going.
All right, thank you for this, and we are going to have some more from back here, continuing to talk and go into a little deeper about Oktoberfest here this year in Lloydminster. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Thanks, Eric. 8 degrees in the border cities, so we did get a little bit warmer than expected compared to yesterday's forecast. Still plenty of cloud, though, so that sunlight didn't last very long. 22 degrees, your record high in 2007. 1991 had your record low, and we're not that far off from getting to minus 16. It's just around the corner here over the next couple of weeks. Wind dropping a little bit from the 20-kilometer range down to 17 kilometers per hour. And again, as you can see, a little less cloud cover, but still enough to keep us fairly overcast. There is a low pressure system making its way that will be something to keep an eye on Saturday and specifically on Sunday. A few temperatures around Alberta, Saskatchewan, Edmonton 14 degrees, Edson at 10, Red Deer sitting at 15 degrees, so they've had a pretty nice afternoon there. Whitecourt and Athabasca both at 12. A little cooler on the Sask side with Prince Albert at 6, both North Battleford and Saskatoon sitting at 7 degrees, Melfort even cooler at 5 degrees. A few other degrees coming from our region specifically, Cold Lake sitting at 7, Meadow Lake at 6, Provost 13 degrees, and Muirnam sitting at a nice 12 degrees with plenty of sunlight, which most of these regions have not been able to enjoy. Tomorrow's school day forecast should be +1 by the time classes get going, 3 degrees by recess, lunch break 7 degrees, and when everyone's heading home 11 degrees, but a chance of rain coming in tomorrow, so that could put a damper on your schools out experience. 3-day forecast here, 1 for the overnight low, then -2 on Saturday, so that's quite the drop off rather, from 11 degrees to -2, a low of -4 as well, and some strong northwest winds, so it will be cold indeed. It might be -2, it'll feel more like -8 at least. -2 is also the temperature on Sunday, and that's where we're expecting at least a 60% chance of some snowfall coming down, so it could be 1 or 2 millimeters there. West-northwest winds will start to calm down, but not enough that you won't feel a little bit of bite, considering we're into 0 degrees or less. That's your 3-day forecast. We'll have the 7-day later on in the show.
Welcome back. Well, Alberta beef producers will be seeking input from producers around the province on their most pressing issues. Eric Bay has more in this week's Ag Report.
25 meetings will take place across Alberta, with ABP executive members listening to concerns from farmers and forming a plan of action.
Alberta Beef Producers is the organization that represents you as an industry, and this is your chance to come and communicate with the elected individuals and give us grassroots input on the priorities and the direction for the organization for the year. It's one of our most effective venues for us to get input is our fall meetings.
One main concern is winter feeding. After a late start to harvest and wet weather continuing to delay and damage yields, there is worry surrounding producers' abilities to keep their cattle at the proper weight throughout the winter.
Well, the weather has been erratic all year, I think, across the province. In our area here, in the Marwayne area and down Highway 16 corridor, I call it, it's been pretty wet as for most of us, and we're concerned about the lateness of the crop. 3 difficult falls already, and so I think that's probably the biggest concern right now.
Farmers are also able to share their thoughts on new changes in the structure of the Alberta beef producers, giving their feedback on past experiences.
This year, there'll be some proposed changes to the structure of the Alberta beef producers. This is a 5-year plan review year, so we invite you to come and have a look at the changes and have a listen to what we're proposing.
Meetings will take place over the next 3 weeks, with a stop in Murnum November 6th. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
This Ag Report is brought to you by the Lloydminster Co-op Agro Center. Depend on them for product, tools, and expert advice. Shop at your local Lloyd Co-op Agro Center with branch locations in Lashburn and Neilburg.
And now we're going to take a look at your egg prices.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
Athletics at Lakeland College are switching from the pitch to the court. Rustlers basketball and volleyball have started their regular seasons and are looking to follow last season. Last weekend's volleyball games kicked off the indoor season for the Rustlers. The men won both of their games. Meanwhile, the women could only win 2 sets of 8 tonight. Lakeland's basketball teams will look to carry over their preseason success.
We have a mixture of veterans and some rookies, some incoming freshmen, so it's a good mix. We're a small team. I like where we are right now, but I mean, it's just exhibition. We'll know once the regular season gets started.
The Rustlers are heading to Edmonton and taking on Nate. Last year, the women's season opener once again was against Nate, where the Rustlers squeaked out a 1-point win. The men, on the other hand, are going to try to push for the playoffs.
Oh, it's going to be a full team effort. We have to be bigger, stronger than we were before. Guards are going to help out a lot more. I think we'll gang together and get it done.
While depth will play a major role for the women's basketball team this evening, whether they can achieve their championship aspirations relies heavily on 2 key veterans. Josh Ryan has more on the guard and forward duo, looking forward to showing growth after a year of adversity.
Coming into the 2019 season, the Rustlers might have the perfect blend of youth and savvy.
Lost a few people, but we gained good players back from the rookies are really good this year. We're just gonna keep going from there.
However, their success could come down to their 2 international vets. Tori Dugan spent most of last year fighting through a knee injury. After off-season surgery, she's excited to put that experience behind her.
For sure, I'm going to enjoy not playing hurt every game, but it's also taking those steps to get to 100% because I'd like to be playing the way I used to be when I was 100%.
Getting her game back to the level it was prior to injuries is taking a ton of off-court work.
If I can just get that quick first step back and explode off the 1 foot and not rely heavily on the other leg to kind of, I guess, do the job for the leg that's hurt, I'll be 100%. It'll be fine.
In the front court, Bilge Topologlu battled a new style of play and conditioning in 2019. This offseason, she spent her time improving her inside game.
Just went to Istanbul to my friends, was practicing with them back home, and then my dad obviously is an old basketball player. I was practicing with him all the time. He's opposed to, he's 6'7", and he's a big guy, and just playing against him 1-on-1, it just makes me stronger back on the low post.
Head coach Chris King believes that these changes will allow the group to add a very important wrinkle to the offense.
go dribble handoff, she can post up, she can pop or roll on stuff, and that's one of her focuses, is rolling a lot more to the hoop instead of always popping on a lot of that pick and pop stuff. So I would look to see her, Pipes, Tori involved in screen and roll actions quite a lot for us offensively.
And having gone through the progression of last season should make for a stronger start this weekend.
You can't beat experience, so should be a good year.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
Now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Back here once again, and today we have been taking a look at the German Heritage Society, and now we are starting to wrap up October, so that means Oktoberfest is here very soon, and Richard Starker joins me once again. And so you mentioned you guys have been putting this on for years, but what can people expect here this year?
Well, the Oktoberfest that we host here in Lloydminster is sort of patterned after the big one in Munich, Germany. Ours doesn't last for 2 weeks, it just lasts for one evening, but we have a little opening ceremony with a little parade, and we have dancing and beer drinking songs and fantastic German food. And, we have a lot of fun with it. We also have guests that come in. We have the Alpenrose dancers coming in from Saskatoon to do a little bit of German folk dancing with the group. So it's just to give people a taste of that whole Bavarian Oktoberfest experience.
And now I saw on your guys' poster there, you were voted the best Oktoberfest in Alberta and Saskatchewan. So what's it like to, I guess, have that recognition and, doing a great job here?
Well, we've heard that, from people from both, Alberta and from Saskatchewan that come to Lloydminster, and they say, you guys run the best Oktoberfest anywhere, better than some of the ones even in the larger centers, and we're proud of that. For a number of years, we've been fortunate to have the Emeralds as our band, and of course they're renowned, all over the place, and I mean they even have groupies, and they have folks, that come for miles, and of course they originally recorded the Bird Dance, so they're famous for that. But the dance is all different kinds of dance styles, lots of polkas, but lots of other styles of music as well, so people can have a real good time at the dance, which is the predominant part of the evening, that runs from 9 till 1. But there's 2 meals, so there's lots of food, lots of singing. There will be beer, but there will be other things to drink as well.
All right, thank you for this, and we're going to have some more from back here again, continuing to take a look at what you can expect tomorrow from Oktoberfest if you do want to check that out. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
As you can see behind me, wind chill will be in effect definitely over the next 48 hours, specifically affecting the Lakeland region. It won't be as bad heading into the early portion of tomorrow, but once we get into the evening and then the later afternoon, the following day, it's going to be very chilly indeed. Add that to a significant drop in temperature and you really start feeling it. Here's a close look at Lloydminster in terms of cloud cover. You can see fairly cloudy conditions going on through most of tomorrow, though we will have a slight sunny period in the middle of the afternoon before it stays permanently cloudy for the next couple of days, and a chance of snowfall is on its way. 5 degrees in Regina, 14 in Edmonton, and 13 in Vancouver, 10 degrees in Toronto, 3 in Winnipeg, 9 in Quebec City, and 10 in Halifax. A little bit cooler specifically in this region, though a couple of areas on the left side of your map in Alberta are a little bit warmer. So Vermilion, Wainwright, Provost scaling up from 11 to 13 degrees. Vegreville at 12, 9 in St. Paul, and 8 in Bonnyville. But when we get onto the Sask side, definitely cooler. 6 in Meadow Lake, 4 in St. Walburg, 6 in Maidstone, and 7 in North Battleford, where they're expecting a low of 1 this evening as the wind shifts from the west-southwest to the south-southwest by tomorrow. A high of 13 expected then. Low of 2 overnight in Cold Lake, then 6 for tomorrow's high. And then in Lloydminster, 8 degrees, 1 for the overnight low, and 11 tomorrow with a chance of rain. It's about 40% chance at this moment in the region. -2 on Saturday with a low of -4. That is a big drop off from Friday. -2 as well on Sunday with a chance of snow there. -6 Monday and Tuesday should be nice chilly days with wind largely out of the northwest. Then a slight warm up on Wednesday at -2, still a low of -12, and then even warmer on Thursday, +2, a low of -6. That's been your 7-day forecast. We'll have question of the day and more coming up after the break.
Today we have been taking a look at Lloydminster's Oktoberfest put on here by the German Heritage Society. Now that does kick off tomorrow, and Richard Starkey joins me once again. And now we've mentioned the dancing, but obviously food a big part. So what can we expect there?
Well, absolutely. People that come to Oktoberfest can actually enjoy two meals. There's a dinner that starts at 7, and the midnight lunch gets going at about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And we serve real German German food. We have Bratwurst, and we have Spätzle and sauerkraut, or the breakfast of champions, as we call it, and and wash that all down with lots of good beer. And a lot of these things are foods that you would be buying at an Oktoberfest in Munich or in Kitchener. Rob Hofer is the executive chef at the exhibition grounds. He does a fantastic job for us. And so, if you've never tried German food, you should try, and come to this. And if you have tried it and enjoy it, there's lots of opportunity. Like I say, the doors open at 6 and the dinner's at 7, but you don't have to wait very long. There's another meal served at around 10:30. Lots of dancing and lots going on in between.
Definitely a great way to work up an appetite for all this good food. And now if people do want to attend here tomorrow, how can they do so?
Well, tickets in advance are available for $45 at Cliff Rosewood Close or the Lloydminster Animal Hospital or the Southside Veterinary Clinic, or they are available at the door. They're a little bit more expensive. They're $50 at the door. But, certainly encourage people to come. You absolutely get your money's worth in terms of both food and entertainment. We have a lot of fun. We don't take things too seriously, and I think everybody that goes enjoys themselves a great deal.
All right, thank you once again for this, and we're going to have some more from back here again, continuing with Oktoberfest, all that you can expect here tomorrow, from the food to the dancing and everything in between. But before we do get to that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Our question of the day dealing with the changes in edibles for cannabis products that was formerly illegal. The federal government is now making it legal. As a result, municipalities are also having to follow suit, and companies who sell cannabis products are making their way to buying cannabis products that are in fact edibles. Will this in fact change the stigma surrounding the substance as a whole? Most of our commenters saying probably not. Some maybe because they're not fans of cannabis as a whole, but also this, in their eyes, doesn't seem to be much of a differentiation from the smoking products.
Yeah, I was reading them, and I would have to agree. I think just saying something is legal now without any information or education to go with it, it's not going to change someone's viewpoint. They really need to do the research and figure out and discover the many benefits to it. If you're using it in a responsible and proper manner, they can have significant health benefits to someone who suffers from nausea, headaches, insomnia, that kind of stuff. So it's not going to change people's viewpoints until they do the research on it and get educated.
And that goes to what Nancy Durantis says: sharing more information about cannabis will change how many people think about it. So really, once it's more widespread information, there's more clinical studies done it, and they're all published, that will generally change how the information gets to people.
Yeah, exactly. And with it now all being legal, it'll be easier for those people to be a little bit more open about it, because it no longer has that illegal title to go along with it. It is now legal for people who are of age to consume it whenever they want. So I think that will help a lot.
Certainly will. And what always helps put a smile on people's faces, especially if you're an animal lover, is Pet of the Day. We got to roll through these quickly, though. Bailey up first.
Very adorable. Kind of looks like a kangaroo in the shadow, but very cute.
It's an astute observation. Roscoe's next.
Very adorable, looking off in the distance. Very cute.
Followed by Rufus.
I love the name and the position. Looks mid-stretch. Very cute.
Nice picture. Willie is next. Another frosty picture.
Yes, another dog enjoying the outdoors. Very adorable.
And ending with Diesel.
Gorgeous photo. I love it. Super cute.
Remember, name and pick to win a shot at the gift card.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Now joined by Colonel David Moore of the Wing Commander, I should say, of Fort Wayne. Another man who obviously really enjoyed seeing this movie. Moments in Space-Time. Just wanted to ask you a little bit about what was it like to be involved in terms of sort of the production of the movie, in terms of your input and some of the shots that were used obviously near the base.
Yeah, so the wing figured fairly largely into the movie. Actually, there's quite a bit of footage shot at the wing, and obviously one of the protagonists is a fighter pilot from the UK, but doing some training in Cold Lake. So a pretty realistic scenario. We have a lot of international pilots that train at Four Wing Cold Lake, and familiarity, I guess, with the subject matter of the movie. So we were able to provide a little bit of technical input into what a pilot might wear and what a pilot might say. How air crew might interact with each other, and then certainly as far as staging some of the shots around the base and helping them get a realistic depiction of that character, kind of how we contributed to the movie.
And so you weren't upset by any of the lingo that was used. It was all accurate.
There's a little bit of Top Gun lingo in there, and but it's for the effect. It's for the entertainment effect. I don't think real fighter pilots are quite that entertaining, but it was good. It was pretty accurate, I would say.
You're selling yourself. Your personality is a little short.
Well, I would say Top Gun in the 80s did us a lot of favors as far as recruiting, and maybe this is the next Top Gun, putting us in a good light, a professional light. But certainly the real product maybe isn't always as exciting as the Hollywood product.
Absolutely. We'll soon obviously find out next year with Top Gun Maverick. What has life been like on the base? I know obviously it's been a tough year in the Lakeland region. Has life changed much for you folks out on the base, or is it relatively the same?
You know, life is our component of the community. The base is about 4,500 people when you look at the members and their dependents here in the Cold Lake, in the city of Cold Lake. So we make up about a third, actually, of the population of the city of Cold Lake. So anything that's happening here in the community or the region is affecting the members of our base. Our members' dependents, their families, they live on the economy. They pay local property taxes. Anything that happens in the region affects directly the members of Four Wing Cold Lake. So when the region's doing well, we're benefiting from that, and when it's not doing well, we suffer for that as well. So, yeah.
And so, how can you? What can you guys do to kind of make your way through certain challenges? Because as I've talked to Craig Copeland and other politicians in the region about challenges you folks have faced, what's one of the ways from either a morale perspective or a community outreach perspective that you're involved in?
Yeah, that's a great question. Families have been our focus at Four Wing and Cold Lake for the last couple of years, in recognition that it is can be a challenging place for our members to get posted and live. We have a great relationship with the city of Cold Lake. Mayor Copeland and I are in lockstep with a lot of the initiatives that we take on in partnership between the city of Cold Lake and Four Wing Cold Lake. And good examples of that are our air show. We put on concerts together. We do infrastructure projects around the city of Cold Lake together, and we're always thinking of each other and how we can leverage each other's abilities to make the region and the city a better place to live for our families.
Certainly a worthy goal. What is on the horizon here over the next couple of months, kind of heading into Christmas, or is it something on the new year that has been sort of any large projects or just things that are hoping to improve base life, anything like that?
Yeah, so right now our focus is on the fact that we've had about 125 members deployed to Operate Assurance in Romania, so our support to their families and support to the members who are deployed has been our focus up until the Christmas timeframe. After Christmas and into the spring, we're doing some training deployments, but the most exciting thing coming up, I think, is next summer when we're doing the Cold Lake Air Show, July 18th and 19th next summer, and that's going to bring a lot of business, a lot of visitors to the region, and it's just a great time. It's a great weekend, and the city and the region and the base all benefit from that event. So,
and I'm sure they'll be very excited, and many other people in the region will come out for that as well. Thanks again for doing this, sir.
Thank you.
Colonel David Moore, a pleasure here in Cold Lake.
Coming up tomorrow afternoon, you've got an opportunity to check out some great live music. The Lakeland College Music Department is proud to present the University of Saskatchewan Saxophone Ensemble. A chance to see some great musicians on stage, and they will also be joined by some local musicians that are studying the saxophone. And when you think saxophone, you probably think blues and jazz, but it's part of so much more great music. You've got a chance to check it out at the Vic Juba Community Theatre tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Admission is free. Tomorrow night, you're in for a night of great music, dancing the night away, and eating some delicious food as the Lloydminster German Heritage Society presents their annual Oktoberfest. They've got the Emeralds. They're going to be there to play for you all night long. Plus, you'll be able to see the Concordia Alpenrose dancers perform as well. And they've always got delicious food as part of Oktoberfest and a chance for you to play some games and win some cool prizes too. If you want to get your tickets, you can stop by the Lloydminster Animal Hospital, and a few tickets will be available at the door tomorrow night. Maybe you're planning to dress as a cowboy for Halloween, or maybe you're going to come up with a costume that's a little bit more elaborate. Well, whatever you choose, get that costume ready for Saturday night, because there's a couple different parties you can head to. The Gold Horse Casino is having their Halloween bash on Saturday night, a chance to win great prizes for best costumes, and the Canadian Brew House here in Lloydminster will become the Canadian Boo House on Saturday night for their Halloween party, and they'll be handing out prizes for best costume as well. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Klegus, and that's what's happening.
I'm happy to be joined today by Dr. Syed Asfal. Thank you so much for joining us today. You've come all the way from Calgary to Lloydminster, yes, and you're helping teach a course in pranic healing.
Yes.
Tell me exactly what pranic healing is.
Pranic comes from the word prana. In Sanskrit, the word prana means life, force, energy. So in India, like when a person dies, we say his prana has left his body. Mm-hmm. So which means that the physical body is still alive. Oh, sorry, the physical body is dead, mm-hmm, but what is not there is the prana or the life force energy. So this prana or this life force energy, it keeps a person healthy, it keeps a person alive. Now the same prana in China we call it Qi.
Okay, right.
So that's why you have practices like Qigong, mm-hmm, Tai Chi, the word Qi is
right
there. Now in Japan it's called as Ki. So the word Reiki.
Right.
So many of them are practicing Reiki. It's the same energy. Pranic healing was introduced, the modern founder of pranic healing, his name is Master Choa, mm-hmm, Kuk Sui. He's a Chinese Filipino, and what he did was, these are many practices from around the world, and so he took the essence of it, removed all the superstition, because he is a chemical engineer by profession, he's a extremely successful businessman, mm-hmm, and with that analytical mind he was able to remove all of that which was more superstitious, which was no longer needed, and then he just distilled, or he brought the essence, and then with almost 20 years of research, and then he presented to the world something called pranic healing, which is very easy to learn and, mm-hmm, to practice. And in 2 days course, actually a person can learn how to heal themselves.
Right.
They can heal others. They can. We have a tool called scanning in, mm-hmm, this energetic scanning, where we learn how to feel the energy, feel our own energy, feel the energy of the client, mm-hmm, and that helps us. That helps us in giving at least a partial picture of what is going on energetically. Few conditions are there which happens. Initially, it starts on the energy level, mm-hmm, then it manifests on the physical level. Just to give you an example, just before having fever,
yes,
a person feels feverish, but you go to the doctor, he sees the temperature, he sees the pulse, yeah, but the doctor will say, no, you are feeling good. But that is the time a person, the energy already has the fever. Then it slowly starts entering the physical body. So a pranic healer can get rid of the problem at the energetic level if it's still not manifested.
Okay. And now, what are some of the basic conditions? Like, say if somebody's generally healthy, mm-hmm, but they still want to practice healing on themselves or others, yeah, is it basically just to maintain good health, and people have some negative pockets of energy that you can help get rid of?
Yeah. This is good for people who are healthy.
Mm-hmm.
This is good for people who are healthy, who can maintain themselves, they can, yeah, keep themselves healthy. Now apart from that, this is also used for people who are having certain conditions like migraine, arthritis, IBS. Mm-hmm. So these are just few examples. Asthma, sports conditions. I have a background as a sports physiotherapist also.
Right.
So So we used to work on these conditions. Now when you go and ask the doctor, what is the real cause of a migraine? What is the real cause of IBS? And most of the doctors would say it is psychosomatic. What is the real cause of asthma, diabetes, arthritis? All these conditions, the word that they use is it is psychosomatic. It comes from two words, psycho and somatic. Psycho is connected with the psyche of the person,
right,
and somatic is connected with the physical body, which means that what they are really trying to say is, though this problem is there in your physical body, the actual cause is somewhere deep down in the psyche. Otherwise, in other words, it is stress related.
Okay.
So that's why we don't, in most of the medicines that are used are all to temporarily fix it. So that these are painkillers, these are things that will temporarily fix it. But here we are going more deeper than that, where we are trying to address not only the person on the physical level, but also on the energetic level, emotional level, mental level, so that as much as possible, at least we are trying to get rid of the problem as much as it's possible. But pranic healing is never, it's always a complementary therapy.
Right.
The founder,
it's
Master
not meant
Chowa.
as a cure,
No,
it's meant to help.
Yes, it's a, you can use allopathy, you can use any Chinese medicine, you can use any system. Along with that, when you use pranic healing, the results are much, much faster.
Okay.
So I was practicing in certain hospitals where for cancer patients, along with the chemotherapy, radiations, we were doing healing. The results were excellent. Like most of the side effects were not there. I used to work with sports medicine clinics. A person would take some muscle relaxants. We used to work with some of the international teams. So they used to, when they have a sprain, muscle pull, back pain, something like that, so they used to take muscle relaxant, and then sometimes they have an upset stomach. So when we did healing, the side effects of the medicine is not there. So it can be used in every aspect of our life actually.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us today to explain this. And if anybody wants any more information on pranic healing, what's the best source for that?
You can visit Kether House,
okay,
KETHER, ketherhouse.ca, or you can go to pranic healing. You can just Google pranic healing. They are worldwide. There are foundations where they teach pranic healing, and it's not difficult, just 2 days course.
Right.
And yeah, it's the idea is to have one healer in a family so that they can take care of themselves, they can take care of others.
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining.
You're
Thanks for
welcome.
making the trip from Calgary, and I hope you enjoy the
Thank
time
you.
with your students and classes in Lloydminster.
Thank you. Thank you.